For generations, it was the stuff that fueled America's rise to become a world power. Coal, much of it mined in central Appalachia, in the state of West Virginia. The southwestern part of the state has fallen largely off the map. It's a place that few Americans have visited or know much about. This is the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, a remote place where tradition has deep roots. Long the economic bedrock of the region, today coal is an embattled industry. These are the heroes of West Virginian myth, the proud, tough men who keep coal's black heart beating. Every morning, they descend deep into the mines, several kilometers into the mountainside. The tunnels in the Sally Ann mine are barely a meter high.
Yeah, it can be hell sometimes. I pray every morning before I go underground, I do. Just Lord, bring me back home to my family safe and keep all my working colleagues, keep them safe. Let's get this shift done. Let's just make it out safe.
For 3 years now, Scott Lockhart has won the black hard hat of experienced miners, like his father and grandfather before him.
I knew I was going to be a coal miner when I was in high school. Coal miner, that's all I could be. I wasn't smart in school. I barely did graduate high school, so I couldn't go to college. So now here I am, here underground. Crawling all day long for 10 hours a day. My knees, your knees get scarred up, get tough. When I first started now, oh man, it like to kill me. My knees have blisters on them, sore all the time. No back pain, not yet. I ain't saying I ain't gonna have back pain, knee problems, and hand problems down the future.
Since it opened in 1981, the Sally Ann mine has been dug nearly 2 kilometers into the mountainside. It supplies valuable metallurgical coal, West Virginia's black gold, to the steel industry. Accidents can happen anytime.
Yeah, you get scared. Who wouldn't? But my fear. I save it for the ride home. But like I said, if you think about it every day, you'll drive yourself insane. I just keep it to myself. I'm scared. It is what it is. I gotta work. I gotta work every day. If we don't run coal, we won't have no job. Being a coal miner, I feel special. I feel self-confident. Not everybody can do the job that we do. It makes me feel proud.
Scott's older brother, Stephen, has been a miner for 15 years.
We watch each other's backs, try to help each other as much as we can. And he's taught me a lot, too.
Me and Timmy, everybody's lives is in our hands. We're the ones that supports the top, so they're counting on us to do the right thing. When they cut a place, We're going somewhere where nobody else has ever went. Kettlebombs, they've killed many coal miners. We don't shut down for them. Sometimes we'll bring a sandwich, but mostly just grab a cake and a pop during a 10-minute break and keep moving. I take a half lunch back home. It don't bother me no more. No, I'm just immune to it. The production cannot stop. Absolutely can't stop. If I feel tired or sick, yeah, I take a 5-minute or 10-minute break. And from what I hear they had like a dinner hole. All the men would get together a certain time throughout the day. That's pretty cool to think of, but it's nothing I've ever seen. These companies that's trying to do away with the union, and people like us, the younger generation, we're going to do what it takes to survive. That's being in the union is the last of my worries. I've got to work. Yeah. So I'm not really worried about the union or nothing like that. I just want to go to work every day and go home.
Sit down, 6 pounds over.
Yep. I've got a lot of good friends here that look after one another. We have to help each other. One man can't run this whole place by himself.
Since President Donald Trump promised to revive coal and rolled back some environmental regulations that the industry hates, is the black heart of America beating again. But the glory days of coal are past, not least because natural gas is both cleaner and cheaper. Above ground, much of West Virginia is still untamed nature. Forests cover the steep slopes of the Central Appalachians. Once home to Native American tribes, it was later settled by mainly Scots and Irish immigrants. Hundreds of narrow valleys crisscross the region. The hollows, or hollers as they're called in the Appalachian dialect. These remote mountains are home to many small religious communities. Time often seems to be standing still here, and tradition has remained strong.
Muddy water, can you hear me? Can't you see what you have done? Can't you see you're not
West Virginia is also the world of bluegrass and mountain music. In his ballads, Alan Cathead Johnston tells of the hard life in the mountains, like when a flood washed over the hollers and swept away what the locals had worked so hard for. With his daughter, Stacy Grubb, and former miner Charlie Davis, Johnson recorded his song, Muddy Water, which became a local hit.
Some people blame the coal mine and the timber industry, and they called it the 100-year flood. Lightning flashed about, and the devil hit the ground. Now, how many times have I sung that song and I forgot the word? What are you laughing at?
Tell me and I can still laugh about it.
Well, we picked a good day to practice on a flood song.
I know.
Like this. Some people call me hillbilly. Some people call me mountain man. You can call me Appalachian. Appalachian's what I
Mountain music to me is a story in every song. You can say the mountains, you might as well talk about say the people too, because the people are the mountains,
I've had so many people come to McDowell County and they just don't see why would you still live here?
If God had let me pick where I was going to be born at, I'd have picked right here in this holler. And it give you a sense of belonging to a particular group,
The holler to me is protection. The families and their hardships, and you try to share life with them.
As an 11-year-old kid, their house burnt down. And, you know, we lost everything. We didn't have a whole lot. We lived in a trailer. It was gone in minutes, you know. And that night, just a few hours later, you know, we had warm beds that we were sleeping in.
I was given over $5,000 in cash money because my house burnt down. Just people come together. I'd be walking down the street and somebody'd say, "Come here, how you been doing?" You know, and I'd shake, and they'd stick their hand out for me to shake hands with them. And when I shook hands with them, they'd put something in my hand, you know, and they'd pat me on the back and say, "God bless you," and just keep going. But when they walked off, I'd look down and there'd be a $100 bill because they knew my house burnt down. And that's the kind of people live around here.
Religion has long been a way to escape the narrow world of the Hollows. The Pentecostal Church, called House of Lord Jesus, still practices a form of worship that is officially banned by law outside West Virginia. At every Sunday service, Pastor Chris Walford risks his life. Over the years, the ritual has claimed the lives of preachers and worshipers.
We got a timber rattler, then we got a couple copperheads, and then we got a eastern diamondback. It's in chapter 9 in Luke. I'll give you power to tread upon scorpions and serpents. It ain't a challenge, it's just a commandment. There's a scripture that says, perfect love casts out fear. We handled tonight what they call a timber rattler. That's what killed my daddy and my brother. It's an honor to me that God count them worthy. If God would want me to lay my life down that way, I would consider it an honor. He gave his life for us. God, he said, if you drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt you. The Bible says, show me your faith without any work. I don't understand why we're persecuted so bad. Why put us down and call us ignorant and stupid because we're willing to die for what we believe in. And we won't force it on nobody. I don't do that because it saves me. I do that because I am saved. I was in a bad way. I had a drug addiction. Telling myself I'm not going to do it no more. I'm done with this. But as soon as I get a few dollars in my pocket, I was back, bro. Because they say the monkey, it ain't the monkey, it's the devil. He began to whisper in my ear, just go get you just a little bit. Just go get you a little bit. And brother, one night, I come to an old church house. And I felt Jesus begin to deal with my heart. Oh God, he began to knock and my heart began to break. Oh, and I began to weep, and I got down and I reached out and I got him by the heel. I began to cry out. My heart was so broke, all I could say is forgive me. But when I rose up from that altar, I was a new man. addiction, Brother Micah. It was no longer there. I was clean. Yeah, all right.
I was on pain pills, cocaine, crack, but all of that, nothing compares to when the Spirit of God moves up on you and allows you to have that, feel that power.
I heard that one of my good friends had got hurt. He got badly injured, had bad head trauma. He got struck in the head with a piece of equipment. 7 men get killed this year. Most of those men had 15, 20 years experience. They was not a red hat. They was all black hats. They knew what they was doing. You can get confused in the coal mine. You do it 10.5 hours a day, 6 days a week. There's always that one time, but can't think about it.
Scott comes home, he'll be wanting to ride too. He'll have his cowboy hat on, he'll be ready to ride, won't he?
Caitlin Lockhart has been married to Scott for 3 years. Until her first child was born, she worked as a nurse, a very common job for women in this struggling region. After nearly 40 years in the mines, Scott's father, Jimmy, has just taken an early retirement.
Being married to a coal miner, you know, you get up every morning and there's always that question in your mind, is this going to be the last time am I going to see him? And then, you know, when the phone rings and you're like, you see it's the mines, the first reaction is something's happened. I knew beforehand because my dad was a previous coal miner and he got crushed in the mines and he doesn't work anymore because he can't. If I went and married Scott, I would probably still have been with a coal miner. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, that's all that there is around here. It's either you're a doctor or you're a coal miner. And, I mean, there's a few far in between, like McDonald's and stuff, but, you know, you can't live off that. I pray that the mines stay open. Getting laid off with the mines, it can happen anytime. Without the mines, we have nothing in West Virginia. But I can't really leave the mountains.
I would never change my life. No amount of money would change the way we are right here. Only thing that would change, we might could get closer together. This is the way I want to finish out right here. I love my life, just the way it is.
Jimmy worked in the coal mines for 39 years, and I honor him for that because that's a hard job to work that long. And he's been diagnosed with black lung. They told us that it was critical. It wasn't stage 1 or stage 2. And
Like most of the miners, Scott rarely wears a dust mask underground.
It's hard to work with them on, you know. I've done got used to working. I ain't wore one since I've been in a coal mine. My father, he always told me I should wear one. I never did. I don't feel comfortable. My daddy did. It is a sad feeling. It is. Knowing that he does got black lung. You're gonna get it eventually. If you're working here long enough, you're gonna get it. I thank God every day I get outside. I thank the Lord above for another safe day, making it outside. That's the truth, I do. blackling is. Just something I'm gonna have to face with, and all my friends and all the guys I work with. In the long run, get close to retirement. May not make it, might not make it to age 62 in a couple months. Just a waiting game, really. My brother, he's got it. I'll probably get a little case of it. It does. You can tell a difference in breathing. You can. You can tell a difference sometimes in certain activities that you do, like hunting, anything, ginsenging. You feel a difference. You can. I was laid off for about a year and a half with the company that I'm working for right now, and it was a struggle. Yeah, there was a war on coal. Since the beginning of the year, I've been working every single day. Donald Trump, he's kept his word. We're not going to put coal miners out of work, and that's all it took for me. He's a down-to-earth person. The people person, He's like one of those guys you can walk in a bar and just have a beer with him and sit down and talk all day long. He's just plain Jane. He's American, I like the fact that he's loud and he gets rude about some things and he steps up. He ain't gonna let all these other people step on his back, I don't know why they criticize him for it. I don't really know much about it. I work 6 days a week, 10.5 hours a day. I spend more time underground than I do with my own family. I don't have time to watch social media and even TV, so I don't really know what's going on out in the world. I don't know. And the wintertime is a coal miner's nightmare. Whenever your shift starts, it's dark. You come outside, it's dark. Sunday's the only time you get to enjoy sunshine if the sun's shining. The winter sucks.
Scott's mother, Alicia, and his grandmother, Ruby, along with his mother and father-in-law, have dropped by for a visit. In West Virginia, family is still the center of life.
October 25th would have been my brother's 62nd birthday. And he was killed in the coal mines in 1976. He was 19 years old. He backed a tractor over into a manhole.
I'm still not over it. And my father, he got crippled in the mines in 46. Then I had an uncle got killed in the mines. So it's all on down the road,
We know that the Hills have coal that gives us all jobs, but they take our husbands.
When I would see Stephen and Scott in their mining clothes, I'd cry. It just really hurt me, they went in the mines. I could have really whooped Jimmy and Alicia for letting them go in the mines, I don't accept them being miners. But, that's the way they're going to make their living, so I have to accept it,
Everybody's so family-oriented here. Everybody likes to be next to mom, next to dad. And, we're always a phone call away. Scott.
Counting the time he spends commuting, Scott works about a 70-hour week. His earnings, $5,000 a month.
If Kinsley decides to ever marry a coal miner, I believe I would have to tell her that is going to be one of the hardest decisions she'll have to make.
There you go. You love Daddy, don't you? You patting his face, now look at your hands, how dirty. Gotta take a bath.
My family, they give me a lot. I couldn't ever replace it.
Dark as a dungeon and deep as a dew, where the danger's dangerous, double or few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. Dark as a dungeon way down in the mine.
I traveled about 6 hours away. I went to work in the big mines. Then I come back here. It's the fact of leaving home, I like home. I have never traveled the world or got on an airplane, none of that. Don't feel any need to travel.
Well, you know for sure.
You ain't got the right song.
Looking that up as a girl.
Being a coal miner, I feel special. You're deep inside a dark hole, and your coal's going all across the world, and you're helping build bridges, build buildings, skyscrapers. It ain't for everybody. I would like to have been a professional bull rider when I was younger, but that didn't work out. I was just gonna be. The accident that happened with my friend, I really don't like talking much about it. I just try to keep that off my mind. Not even try to talk about it to nobody, Father, mom, wife, not even with Caitlin. I don't even talk. Just leave it to myself. I think about it, don't get me wrong. But it's hard not to, when you get a friend seriously injured. It only takes a split second and you can be dead. It don't take long. It don't. And then you think of death. What could really happen, Could this been me? This could have been me. So you just try to block it out.
Coal has claimed thousands of lives here. A single disaster in 1907 killed 361 miners. Until the 50s, families lived in company towns. Workers were paid in scrip that was only good in company stores. Strikes were violently put down. Today, miners know that joining a union means risking their job. The scarred landscape of West Virginia. Since the 90s, over 600 mountains have been ravaged by blast mining. It's cheaper and requires fewer workers. The rubble, often toxic, piles up in the valleys and contaminates streams, rivers, and groundwater.
This place has been mined to death. In order for them to continue the mining here, they'll have to depopulate our communities. And they've done it before. They've done it a lot.
Maria Gunno has lived her entire life in these mountains. The Cherokee native is fighting against the devastating blast mining.
The communities here are lawless, and it's sort of the end of nowhere. The mine company buy up people's homes, and eventually they tear down those homes. They poison the water. The air is laden with coal dust and chemicals from the blasting. They make life here impossible. So people are willing to sell out. They want to get out. For the people that refuse to sell, their home all of a sudden is in the middle of a mining operations. And the coal companies will look at you and say, you'll wish you sold. And I've been told that. They put me through hell, but I still don't take their buyout. There's more than 40 communities now across the southern part of the state that are no longer existing communities. They're gone. The coal industry, they gate mountain people out of their mountains. If this is really about jobs, what about we just turn the dozers around and fix what we've tore up? That's another 100 years worth of employment. It's not about jobs, it's about profit. The coal companies and the Department of Environmental Protection work together, and the politicians benefit from it through many ways. Campaign contributions, perks here and there.
Maria Gunno has enemies. She had to fortify her property since she won a lawsuit against the polluters. 14 years ago, her home was nearly destroyed by a flash flood. The growing problem is the coal companies stripped the land. A large part of her property was buried in toxic sludge.
Over the years, I've been threatened. People threaten to burn my house. They've been threatened. People threaten to kill me. They've done things to my children. My daughter was mooned by full-grown men when she was 12 years old. They've killed our dogs. Well, they was angry because their bosses told them that it was my fault that they were going to lose their jobs, and there's no truth to that. I was testifying to stop an illegal permit. Water and air is absolutely more important than a paycheck. I've had 9mm put right to my nose. I have had to shoot above people's heads, yes, to put them off of my property. And this was what I slept with, right there on my swing. It was fully loaded. Safety was on. I had one in the chamber. It was ready to fire. My daughter's lost 4 friends to cancer at 23. We have a lot of children here that have heart problems, that have liver problems, kidney problems. You've watched people of all ages die of cancers. I have hand-delivered 30 peer-reviewed scientific studies to Congress. They know it. They know what's happening here, and they choose to do nothing. They choose to let our people die. It's a very slow genocide, a very quiet genocide. And it's not just any people, too. I mean, this is some of the poorest people in our country. They have no good health care. They don't have healthy food to eat. They're completely defenseless. They have no long line of lawyers waiting to prosecute these cases for them. The coal industry owes us. Wall Street owes us. They owe all of Appalachia. The steel that built this country came from here. Why are we so poor? We built all these big cities. Our men in these mines mined the coal. Now, why is it that we are so dirt poor? Why is it that we are so unhealthy? It's because everything that mattered left. They leave us nothing. Not even a retirement, not a pension. They took that too. They take it all. And there's people here that will uphold them because they're waiting on crumbs.
Over 80% of the land in the south of the state belongs to the mining companies. So it's hard to diversify the local economy and leave coal behind.
I've always admired my father. He worked his whole life away, killed himself, just to make sure that we had what we wanted. Sucking dust, trying to produce coal, to keep everybody a job.
I'm proud to be a hillbilly. Mountains, we use the mountains for a lot of things. Deer, grouse hunt, ginseng, also rabbits. You ever ate snake? Snake's a little like chicken too, you know. It's good. Make belts out of it. And you can make squirrel gravy. Squirrel,
5 minimum.
if we can get a couple of good squirrels, we can skin them back, cut them up, and throw them in a big pot and cook the meat. You can make dumplings.
Last year I killed 3 deer.
Yeah.
We never bought meat from a store and for
and
the whole winter.
If we shoot it, we're gonna eat it.
We're gonna eat it.
Unless it's a possum. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to do that I can't do on account of my lungs. Like riding horses, like walking through these mountains. That's what hurts me the worst. My father died of black lung, so I'm gonna keep going and keep doing what I love to do. I live in a strip of houses. They drill 4 gas wells, and when they do fracking, they blow it up underground, and it makes cracks through the whole surface, and then that's what contaminates our waters. I wish there was a different way that they could get that coal without taking the mountaintops out. It hurts me to see let's mow the trees down.
I ain't judging them for it, you know. I just hated that to destroy the forest and run the game away, you know. But that's how they feed their families. They're coal miners just like us.
The southwestern corner of West Virginia is one of the poorest regions in the country. The jobless rate is over 50%. men's life expectancy is just 64 years, among the lowest in the nation. In Welch, the county seat, the authorities are powerless to stop the decline. Coal companies take their profits out of state. A long legacy of backroom deals between politicians and coal barons means they barely pay taxes. In the 1940s, Welch was dubbed Little New York. It boasted the country's first municipal parking building. Then, mechanization led to the first mining crisis. Since the end of the coal boom, the county's population has declined by some 80%. Many of those who remain try to escape the dreary reality. McDowell County is an epicenter of the country's opioid epidemic. It began when pharmaceutical companies pushed the highly addictive pain medication OxyContin legally and on prescription.
Attorney Officer there, responding Anna Walls for domestic. Both parties separated, no weapons.
Just coming back to the office.
Sheriff Martin West has joined county administrators to file a lawsuit against major pharmaceutical manufacturers and distributors.
West Virginia, McDowell County is in a survival mode now. We've gone into houses in a situation where there's no food, no heat, nothing done to clean the house. Kids sleep on chairs, cigarette smoke constantly being breathed upon them. It's just like animals living out in the wild. Children are living without parents because parents are in jail. Sometimes they're overdosed and dead. About every family in this county's been affected by someone in their family with a drug problem. And it affects the middle, the higher up, and the lower class. This lawsuit will be going on for several years, but it doesn't stop the people from dying until we get a judgment against these pharmaceutical companies. Well, you have companies that's making $13 billion in that period of time, so they're gonna have the biggest lawyers. We're always begging for help and more assistance to fund the sheriff's department, and it causes you to feel helpless. We've been neglected for so long here. We lost 5 deputies in the last 2 to 3 years. They were laid off because there wasn't money there to pay them. With 10 police officers right now, we cannot cover this county. Anytime a police officer goes out, they don't know if they're gonna come back. The peak is still ahead of us in McDowell County. We found people on the side of the road, under the wheel, overdosed. Well, every day somebody's affected in this county. I buried 3 people out of one family that overdosed on drugs. These are not statistics, these are people I know personally. These are a lot of people I've grown up with, went to school with, and they're dying and nobody's taking note of it. We don't have the first bed here, and that's the reason I wrote the letter to the governor. And I said, y'all know the situation, and you're giving money out all around us, and yet we lead the state in overdose deaths. And I said, shame on you, blood is on your hand. Blood is on your hand for not coming to help us.
Every holiday is an occasion to celebrate family.
It's hard to have a large family because you're always helping one and then you turn around and you're helping the other one. But I love it, it's wonderful. Helping and cooking for my grandkids on Sunday and my kids. That's Southern West Virginia. And I know the only way for my kids to make a living and stay at home where they want to live was for Trump to become president because he supported Coe. Trump wants people to work hard and work for what they have, and we do believe in work. Nothing's give to him. We don't believe in handouts. It's a strong back and a hard hand around here. That's what we believe in. And Trump's a hard worker. Look where he's got, you know. Well, she was wealthy to begin with, but he wouldn't be where he is if he sat on his butt, you know, basically. Trump is really not a politician, and he didn't have no support, so he owes nobody nothing. I don't think he's in it for the money or to rob from the people because he don't need the money. He is for the working class. And I think if President Trump came to my house, that he would come in, shake our hands, and not make us feel belittled because he's a millionaire, a billionaire. Hillary Clinton's another story. She called people in West Virginia a basket of deplorables. Uneducated, and only smart people voted for her. Gonna make me burn my breath. Just about. Trump would, actually, I think he would enjoy being around some Southern cooked food. I would give him some cornbread and pinto beans and green onions.
These companies, they hired the Pinkertons to come in here and to make it hard on everybody that was wanting to be in the union. And they literally was shooting people at the Welch Courthouse. We work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
We're working 10 and a half hour shifts. You know, sometimes 11. You really don't believe the toll that extra hour underground takes on it.
It looks good on a payday, it does.
It's not exactly what I wanted for my kids to be coal miners. That's the roughest working place you could ever work. All the water, all the mud, all the dust. It was hell. Scott runs a scoop, very low coal. Just running over a rock in the mines can kill you, can smash you into the top. My brother used to own this little store down here. I wish I would have bought that store. That way I could have had Stephen and Scott could have worked there. They could have had a better life right there. So that's the only regret I ever have.
It was just a big relief off my shoulders. Give me a raise. I felt like I made it in life. I'm starting to do good for myself. I didn't have no other dream. I feel strong what I'm doing. Just a regular old West Virginia coal miner is what I am. That's what I'm gonna be till the day I die.